This is Genevieve. I got something pretty cool going on today. So I've only actually done a couple squirrels before. This is a big gray squirrel. He turned out really nice. This is one of my favorite mounts. I did him as part of my apprenticeship when I was first learning taxidermy. But yeah, he turned out really nice. And then I got this little red squirrel. His name is Rocky. Somebody donated him to the shop. But check this thing out. Here is my squirrel form. It is basically the same thing as this one, just facing the opposite way. Got his tail on there. But he is an albino. He is a true albino, so he's got red eyes. And right now he's taking a little bath. I don't actually tan my squirrels. I just kind of set them in denatured alcohol for a while. And the skin turns really stiff. But it kills all the bacteria. And I wash him up real good. I gotta do a couple of water baths on this guy because he's white. But that gets the skin all cleaned up, and then I just go ahead and put them right together. Alrighty, so we got our form here. I do have some relief cuts in here. Basically, if the skin is just a little bit too loose in one of these areas, I can go ahead and tuck it up in here. And I like to do that anyway because it makes it a nice crease. Right, like when you bend your elbow, the skin goes down into the crease like that. So, just to mimic that on the form, I did go ahead and cut some slots. Normally I use clay around the eyes. I don't really use epoxy for too much. But this guy, since his skin is so pink, I really don't want to use clay because it's a little bit too dark, I think. So I'm going to come in with white epoxy instead. This will make it so his eyes aren't bulging out quite so bad too. But yeah, I don't want the eyes to be stained with clay or black epoxy, so I'm using the white. There we go. I got the basic shape on there now. And this is the side that's going to face the wall, but I am going to fill that side in too, of course. This is a very intimidating project for me since I've never actually done any kind of an albino animal. So just intimidating in the sense that it's something new, but I like doing squirrels, so I'm not too worried about them. And I'll be honest though, I just do a really rough job at this stage, and then I actually shape the eye once I get the skin on there. And another thing I do is I take some more of this stuff and I put it down in the mouth and the nose. That way I give the skin something to adhere to. Because epoxy is real sticky. So again, not real neat, but I do all my shaping after I get the skin on for these. I got them all nice and clean and white again. That is just the weirdest thing. He does have like some yellow fur on the tail, but I don't think it's stained. I think it's just yellow. It's just the color that he is. So I will not be bleaching it. It's totally clean, it's not urine or anything. Just the way he is. What a neat animal. Now this guy was roadkill, so he came with a salvage tag. First time dealing with roadkill, actually. But I'm just drying him up a little bit here. All done. Okay. Switched you guys around. Hopefully it'll be a little easier for you to see. But here he is. It's a pretty good sized squirrel. He is a gray squirrel. Just an albino one. Looks like a big rat. Looks like the ones you buy to feed to snakes or whatever. But anyways, he had a couple of ticks on him. Oop, looks like I missed one. Ticks are all dead, of course. But yeah, he's in remarkably good shape for being roadkill. Hit every bone in his body. In a sense, this was a really ethical kill because he died immediately. Like, normally I would show the skinning process on a squirrel because it's actually not that gross, but this was kind of nasty, so I didn't film that. But yeah, he's got no holes in him. He's got a little bit of damage up on his face, but not bad. And then he's just got this that I gotta sew up on his arm here. A couple little holes there. But yeah, other than that, he looks pretty good, all things considered. I'll give him a test fit quick before I get him sewn up. Always test fit, no matter what animal you're mounting. Apparently his head wants to go in first. And really all I'm doing right now is just making sure everything's gonna close up. Like on the belly area. Because it seems like normally if you have a problem mounting a squirrel, it's because the belly's too tight. Either too loose or too tight. And then of course I fill the paws out with epoxy. So that they aren't like that. Moment of truth. Yep. Yeah, so you can see he is gonna come together real nice. Yeah, yep, he fits this form real well. I'm gonna get him a longer tail though. He has a tail that's a bit on the longer side, but you can see everything. Where's his eyeball here? There he is. You can see the eyes line up properly. So you can tell it's, you know, it looks like a squirrel and I haven't really got them together at all. So that's the main thing, just as long as visually, just taking a glance at him, he looks like a squirrel should. The proportions are right. Everything lines up for the most part. So now I just undress him again. And I am going to sew him up first. That little cut that he's got on his front leg. And I'll switch out the tail. And then we will get stitching on him. Alrighty. Now we gotta reassemble him again. But I've got his feet all stuffed here so that they aren't all shriveled up, and I used white epoxy on those. But mounting a squirrel is really straightforward in my opinion. There's not a lot to it. There's his little face. Looks like a little rabbit. There we go. We got such skinny little arms, it's hard to get them posed right. Which leg wants to go on there first? Probably this guy. Of course, I am being as gentle as I can with them because their skin is pretty thin. All of your rodents and your rabbits and all that, they have really delicate skin. Fits this form really well. You guys watching it might think, oh, she's fighting with it, but they're all kind of like that, honestly. I'd rather have a tight fit on a critter this small than put it on a form that's too small for the skin. Because then you get wrinkles in places they're not supposed to be and it doesn't look right. There we go. Alright, yep, we can get him to close nicely. That's about perfect, really. I don't think that I'm gonna need to tuck any skin anywhere. Wow, that's a really tight fit. In a good way, but yeah, that one comes together really nice. And then I tape it down by the hair. And really it's this part of the tail, as you go out towards the end, that matters more. So now when we go to sew them up, we aren't fighting with all that hair the whole way down. And I'm gonna skip this sewing because, as you can tell, I have to sew all the way from up here, clear down all the way to the tail. Fun.